This is the story of Chernobyl, a reactor that exploded, a city that burned, and the world that watched in horror as history's greatest nuclear disaster unfolded. It began with a test. In the small hours of April 26, 1986, Soviet engineers began a safety test on Reactor 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the city of Pripyat. The plan was to simulate a loss of power scenario. But almost immediately, things went wrong. The reactor began to destabilize and the test was aborted. But it was too late. Two explosions ripped open Reactor 4 and sent a plume of radioactive debris into the air. For the next 3 days, graphite fires burned through the night as workers desperately tried to bring the reactor into a safe state. But they were struggling against an invisible enemy. Nobody knew the true scale of the disaster. Reactor 4 was the worst affected, but radioactive contamination spread to the other reactors on site and to the surrounding area. In the immediate aftermath, the Soviets tried to keep it secret. Radiation was detected as far away as Sweden, 1,000 kilometers from Chernobyl. And within days, the whole world knew something had happened. On April, all 49,000 residents of the nearby city of Pripyat were told to leave for 3 days. They packed their bags, not knowing that they would never return. That same day, liquidators, hundreds of thousands of workers and volunteers descended on Chernobyl to contain the catastrophe. They worked around the clock in horrific conditions for a derisory wage of a few rubles a day, plus a free uniform and a pair of rubber boots. It was the largest public health operation in history. By May, the fires were out and the world's attention was elsewhere, but the liquidators had barely made a dent in the catastrophe. Every day they were adding to the growing list of hotspots, areas of land so contaminated they had to be sealed off and evacuated. To this day, 4,900 square kilometers of the surrounding area remains largely uninhabited. But something had to be done about the wrecked reactor. So, in 1986, the Soviets hastily built a concrete sarcophagus to encase the ruins of Reactor 4. They sealed it up and moved on. For decades, the people of Ukraine were told that Reactor 4 was safe. But the truth was that the structure was crumbling and radioactive waste was leaking out. In 2016, a new structure, the new safe confinement, was slid over the old reactor. But it's too late. The genie is out of the bottle. For years after the disaster, thousands of people a year developed thyroid cancers, mostly children. And the nearby Red Forest, so named because all the trees had to be cut down and burned, remained stuck in time, a silent graveyard to the millions of animals that died there. Amazingly, though, wildlife has bounced back. There are more species of birds and mammals in the Chernobyl exclusion zone today than ever before. As for the city of Pripyat, it's like a theme park. All the buildings are still there, frozen in time, half-finished swimming pools, schools, hospitals, and apartments, all coated in a thick layer of dust. It's eerie to walk the streets because everywhere you look, there are reminders of the life that once was here. A fireman's helmet lies abandoned in a stairwell. Toys are scattered around an apartment. Food is still piled in the canteen. Books and papers litter the institute. Even the hospital pharmacy has its stock of medicines still intact. And all around, a thick layer of dust covers everything, slowly turning to rust, slowly turning to dust. Sometimes the wind picks up and whistles through the empty corridors of the city. It carries with it the sound of a life that was abruptly ended, the whisper of 49,000 stories. When we think of Chernobyl, we remember the heroism of those who sacrificed themselves to save others, the firefighters, the medical staff, the liquidators, and we remember the victims, the 28 people who died in the initial explosion, and the many thousands who have since died or suffered illness as a result of the disaster. But maybe the most important lesson of Chernobyl is the story of a cover-up, a story that played out across the world stage. The Soviet government's decision to hide the disaster from its own people and from the rest of the world was a terrible mistake. It allowed the radiation to spread when it could have been contained. It denied thousands of people the chance of early treatment. It put the lives of first responders at risk. Chernobyl happened in the past, but its lessons are timeless. We must always hold those to account who abuse their power and put profit before safety. We must demand transparency from those who seek to do science for society. And we must remember those who died trying to make the world a better place. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and check out our other recent work. Thanks for watching.